Rounding up of Americans because of their heritage, well, unless you're an American Indian, you came from another country at one time or another, or your parents or their parents did. We are, as Jimmy Carter used to be fond of saying, a melting pot of the world. But it used to be that people immigrated to this country to assimilate into its culture and assimilate into its society. What we have in this country nowadays, if you want to talk about Arab populations, one of the largest Arab populations is in Dearborn Heights, Michigan. That's near Detroit. Been that way for many, many years. The ironic thing is right down 39 or Southfield Freeway, you have a very large section of Jewish people living in I would say, relative harmony and peace. If we are to go after and outside, and they claim that there's no profiling going on, if you're to go after Americans of Arab descent, again, rounding people up versus investigating is another thing entirely. And what is the definition of terrorism? Aiding and abetting a terrorist organization. I mean, it got so bad that if an American, I once heard a representative from the government, forgive me, I forgot his name, but suggesting to the point that, well, if you were doing any sort of drug whatsoever, that you were aiding the drug cartels which were funding terrorism around the world. So by virtue of the fact that you might have smoked a marijuana joint, you could have been aiding and abetting worldwide terrorism, which is an absolute farce. I'm against racial profiling, but again, going back to the subject of real security inside the United States, why is it that we're not sealing up the border? If I wanted to come into the United States from anywhere in the world, all I'd have to do is go to Mexico, walk across the desert, bring a couple of sandwiches and a couple of gallons of water, and voila, I'm inside the United States. This whole thing about terrorism and profiling and rounding up and all of these things is made just an absolute farce by the fact that we don't have real secured borders in this country. Anybody can come in, and they have. Chinese, Russians, you name it, have come across the border. I think they call them OTMs, other than Mexicans.